What's up, y'all? We're going to talk about last night's game with the Lakers and the Boston Celtics. Lakers lose 89-111, another blowout loss. And while we're 56 games into the season, the Lakers are 12 games above 500. They're 34-22, the fifth seed in the West. I don't care because this is an unserious team. They are a first round exit waiting to happen. And it's clear in their losses. Now, getting blown out isn't the end of the world. It's an 82 game season, right? Teams are going to get blown out. You're going to have games where you're missing all your star players and they have a full slate. It's off a back-to-back. You lose that game by 20. So what? It happens. Long season. My problem is 19 of their 22 losses have been by 10 or more points, and they have a negative point differential, and they are 12 games above 500. It's minus 23. So for that to improve and be positive or neutral tomorrow, they would have to either blow out the Orlando Magic by 23 points to have a neutral point differential, or they beat them by 24 to have a positive point differential by a single point. So what that tells me is that whenever there's a little bit of adversity that they're playing, that they're facing in a game, they just roll over and quit. And the same thing happened last night with the Celtics. Now, they kept it close for the first quarter, but by in the first half, they were down 10, and you already know how it is. Lakers go down, they roll over. And I know there was some missed calls. You had Kata with a couple of goaltends, but there's missed calls every game. You had Peyton Pritchard, Jaylen Brown with some push-offs. But again, there's missed calls every game, there's no calls every game, and there's calls that benefit both teams every game. So I really don't care because the good teams will win in spite of those bad calls. And to be honest, with the Peyton Pritchard push off on Jared Vanderbilt, I don't care because one, the Lakers can't guard anything in general, and Peyton Pritchard just looks so much more twitchier, explosive, and clearly stronger than everyone on the Lakers out there since he's getting so much separation on that push off on Vanderbilt. Like, I don't care. Peyton Pritchard is 6'1". Vanderbilt, Rui, Luka, LeBron, these guys are all 6'8". They're all 6'8". Austin Reeves is 6'5". DeAndre Ayton is 7 feet tall. Hayes is 7 feet as well, but he didn't play last night, ankle injury. But they have the adequate size and length, and this team is the slowest in the league. Now, I know LeBron is 41 years old, and it's a thought-terminating cliche when it comes to evaluating or critiquing or even praising his game at this point, because everything just gets dumbed down to him being 41 years old. But they have the adequate size to not be complete pushovers in every game that they tend to lose when they lose by 10 or more points, and they just roll over. Like, I know, the amount they win or lose by doesn't matter in, the W and loss column. But it does for the elite teams. It does, because the elite teams will put the bad teams away, and they're competitive even in their losses. And they haven't done that. They haven't done that at all throughout the majority of the year. I know that all big three of their guys, Austin, LeBron, Luka, they have all missed some significant time. Like 7, 8, 10 plus games. I know that. But the team is what it is. And what concerns me the most is that you would need this team to be really elite offensively, and that just isn't the case. Even with the big three having a good record, they're 8-4 when they play. They've only played 12 games together. But they're just not that good. They're not good enough offensively to really justify having a full team of one-dimensional players, because the whole team is. And when it comes to their star players not, establishing the best culture, that's when it comes to the missed calls and the crying and the complaining every game when they don't get a call, and it leads to guys getting easy buckets in transition. Funny enough, Jaylen Brown did that last night, but Luka had the worst one. He takes a 3-point shot, he gets fouled, it should be an and one, but he's on the floor with his hands up while they get an easy 2-on-1 layup in transition. Like, I don't like how soft this team is, and we can go on route for a second because this roster construction has been pretty ass for the last 5 years. The last time they had a really good roster I could be confident in was in the 1920 season when they won and the 2021 season, which got derailed by injuries. Those were the last time they had an actual good roster from top to bottom that I had some faith in. Now, the only concerns for those rosters were the 3-point shooting, but you had a younger LeBron and Anthony Davis, and just overall a good team defensively. Well, not a good, an elite team defensively. And even if your shooting wasn't the best on some nights, you would be able to, hold on and win those games. But they haven't had good shooting in the last several years. They haven't had any quality center play in these last several years, outside of Anthony Davis. And they haven't had any reliable two-way wings. And the so-called shooters they do get, they're all on low volume. Like, Kennard hasn't shot more than 4 threes yet, and he's played almost 10 games as a Laker. And the reason why he's not getting that many shots up is because the way they run their offense, it's a lot of isolations. And I know that LeBron James, Luka Doncic, Austin Reeves, they're all ball dominant, and that's how they get their games off. But we need something if we want to get these other guys involved. Your best shooters that are Rui and Luke Kennard when it comes to the numbers. We're going to need to get them some sets. You want them to take more shots. I'm glad Rui took 7 shots last night, because in the previous games he's only taken like 3 or 4. And granted, he had like a couple of grenades in the game where he was 1 for 4. So I just don't like to make it with this team. They're not a serious team. The only way they advance in the playoffs is they have to get a favorable matchup or favorable draw when it comes to bracket. And those 3 teams are the Golden State Warriors, the Phoenix Suns, and the Houston Rockets. And 2 of those teams are hampered by injuries. Devin Booker is having some nagging injuries. Dylan Brooks broke his hand, so that's why it would be a good matchup for the Suns. Same thing with the Warriors, with Steph and Jimmy Butler being out for the remainder of the season. And 2 of their best players dealing with injuries. And then when it comes to the Houston Rockets, while I do think that's a matchup they can win, of course their length worries me and their athleticism worries me. But when their offense is just that bad and they don't have any primary ball handler to really set them up and run sets for them consistently throughout the course of the game, it's a lot easier to key in on Alfred Sengun or Kevin Durant. It's a lot easier to work with that. But that's the only matchups they could actually win. And 2 of those teams have significant injuries to their star players. So sure, they beat the Suns missing Dylan Brooks and Devin Booker. Whoop de fucking do. Yeah, but I just dislike how soft this team is. I hate the roster construction. I hope ownership moves off of Genie Bus and Rob Pelinka, but I just know they would rather wait a season or 2 and then fully integrate their staffs. But I don't like this team. They're so unserious, and it just gets to a point. Like we're 56 games in the season. I've been waiting to see something that would give me, some hope that this would be a serious team. But they're not. They're a first round exit waiting to happen unless they get a favorable matchup with them when it comes out of the standings and the brackets work out. Yeah, don't like this team at all. We'll talk more about other league-wide measures like trying to counteract tanking and of course LeBron James. But again, I said it earlier, it's a thought-turning cliche. LeBron James is 41. What is there to say? He's 41. It doesn't matter whether he has a good game or a bad game. Everything just gets dumbed down to him being 41 years old. And we'll talk about the roster real quick. They got to make a decision when it comes to how much they're going to give Austin Reeves, or whether they let him walk. And when it comes to their timeline with Luka or LeBron, granted, players that would complement Luka would complement LeBron, but this split timeline clearly is hindering their chances of building a good roster. Granted, I don't think Rob Pelinka is that good to begin with. Most of his moves are lucking into stuff or just being very fortunate from other GMs or other teams, if we're being completely honest. But there's the Lakers, man. They play the Magic tomorrow. The concerns would be, of course, Desmond Bane going off on them with his shooting. He's been on a heater recently, and them having the physicality and length that would give the Lakers problems. But that's it, man. Out of the way, ladies and gentlemen, y'all stay safe. We'll be talking a lot more over the course of this season to wrap things up into the playoffs. But I'm out.